Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Scripture Podcast. My name is Dr. Jerome Lavelle, and today we will be looking at the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 13 through 18. When the Magi had departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Rise, take the child and his mother, flee to Egypt and stay there until I tell you. Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him." Joseph rose and took the child and his mother by night and departed for Egypt. He stayed there until the death of Herod, that what the Lord had said through the prophet might be fulfilled. "Out of Egypt I called my son." When Herod realized that he had been deceived by the Magi, he became furious. He ordered the massacre of all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had ascertained from the Magi. Then was fulfilled what had been said through Jeremiah the prophet. A voice was heard in Ramah, sobbing and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children, and she would not be consoled, since they were no more. Today in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 13 through 18, we hear details of events that occurred directly after the birth of Jesus in the manger in Bethlehem. We hear first the directions that are given to Joseph in a dream by the angels. "Rise up, Joseph," the angel conveys. "Take your child into Egypt. There is danger here in King Herod's territory." Recall that when Herod's advisors noted the guiding star, they found the prophecy of the Messiah's coming in Bethlehem. He then beckoned the 3 wise men who were on their way following the star, and he said, "Please return or send word of the location that I too might honor the new king." Of course, that was not what King Herod's real intention was. Now, we did not hear the verses just before those read today in the passage, but there Matthew tells the following concerning the Magi. Having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their countries, taking another route. So God was providing protection and providence to assure the safety of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And we hear that is when they stayed until the death of Herod. However, between these 2 points, the fleeing to Egypt and then the returning, we hear in today's scripture reading the account of the ruthlessness of Herod. After the Holy Family, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, escaped, the text tells us Herod became furious. He ordered the murder of all male children ages 2 years and below in Bethlehem and the surrounding region. This decision and action was so inhumane, so despicable, and so callous that it is known by a specific name: the massacre or the slaughter of the innocents. On this podcast, we recently recounted the story of the stoning of the first martyr, St. Stephen, as he spread the good news after Jesus' death. He was the first martyr after Jesus' crucifixion. But many consider these holy innocents, those killed by Herod, as the first martyrs in the story of Jesus' mission. In reflecting on today's passage, I see 2 ends of the spectrum of love. On one end, I see God's love for Jesus, Mary, and Joseph in protecting them and their gift to humanity through him. He loved and protected life. And on the other end of that spectrum, Herod's hate and hardened heart and disregard for life in the massacre of the innocents. And I know in my life I have not been at either of those extreme ends of that spectrum, but closer to the middle. I do tread between more love, more charity, more kindness in some situations, and less in others. In considering the story of God's grace in the lives of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, and the wise men, I am further committed today to being a positive, reinforcing, encouraging, loving, caring, forgiving, and kind force in this world. I commit myself to think and be more like our loving Jesus and the way that he calls us to be, and less like King Herod. Well, thank you for joining the Daily Scripture Podcast. My name is Dr. Jerome Lavelle. And remember to send questions and feedback to my email address at jeromelavellemusic@gmail.com, or join my email distribution at my website, jeromelavellemusic.com, to receive my newsletters. Remember today's message about Jesus and Mary and Joseph and the providence of God in their lives. May we be open to that providence in ours. Until next time, be well and be blessed.